Bolt up, Charger fans. How are we feeling tonight? Appreciate everybody for being up on here on Chargers Syndicate, giving you everything LA Chargers, live streams, news, and so much more to keeping all of you LA Charger fans up out there far and wide, all entertained, and at the same time, getting you ready for what's next for the LA Chargers. Appreciate all of you guys for joining up on here. Jake Silva on Chargers Syndicate. Like I said before, you guys can catch me also every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, on the AFC West Roundtable on Roundtable Sports. And, of course, if you guys want your own personalized, customized helmet, mini helmets, or whatever you'd like with your favorite teams and including the LA Chargers, definitely give Green Gridiron a look. They've got a lot of great quality stuff, quality helmets, quality miniature helmets as well for all of you collectors up out there and repping up for your Bolts. When you also go up on checkout, use promo code LACSYN. That's Los Angeles Chargers Syndicate, all in small acronyms, LACSYN at checkout for your to saving yourself up a great deal for a lot of these helmets. So give greengridiron.com a look here today. All right. So first of all, I apologize for everybody for at least for the time being that I've had off. Had to deal with at least a couple of some personal stuff, but I'm back and I'm ready to really dig into it. So as you know, your LA Chargers are 3-0. Right now in these last couple game stretches. 3-game win streak. This team on defense continuing to play lights out. And now we're getting into the stretches where now the competition, it gets tougher from here. The Chargers now have to come into a Sunday night football game this week against the Cincinnati Bengals. So the next 5 games are going to be interesting through and through, closer to the end of the season here. So we have the Bengals, the Ravens, the Falcons, the Chiefs for the second time, and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as the next 5 games. 3 of the 5 are at home. Now, we know we're also on this 3-game homestand. We just started it off where we got a big-time win against the Tennessee Titans. And by the way, I'm glad we were able to beat the Titans last week because if any of you have recalled, that game was on my radar for a few reasons because of the WTF game we had last year in week 3 against these guys. When Ryan Tannehill was clearly not playing his best football, that game went into overtime and we lost. I was really happy we were able to come away with that outcome. So now we're taking the momentum and we're facing it off at home again against the Cincinnati Bengals. But I definitely wanted to get back into breakdown of last week with the result against the Titans. So Justin Herbert last week, we know didn't throw a ton, but he also did not make any mistakes. 1 passing touchdown, no picks, also came away with a rushing touchdown. Started breaking ankles, including former linebacker Kenneth Murray. That had to have been a sight to see, wasn't it? So the Chargers now are moving in this momentum. 3 straight wins now, looking to add on and get a 4th one this week on a Sunday night. Not going to be easy considering the fact the Chargers this year are 0-1 on prime time. Not a great way to want to start it. Hopefully, Jim Harbaugh and company will bounce that back on primetime. But to look at it from last week against the Titans, where they won 27-17, we noticed that this team had not had a strong starting, at least in the first half these days. But I think what they're doing is it's a test of coaching scheme, and it's also where the consistency will be built upon for the second half. I think we're starting to notice that with the Chargers. It's a different change with it. They're starting to mix some things up, and where the Chargers will stay strong in the second half of football games. It's important. So, however, the Chargers, they got to Will Levis 7 times, and that's where we'll break it down even more with the defense. But Will Levis, what was kind of the harder part is he was 18 of 23, 75 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, had a rating of 127. So even though Levis went down several times, he also did not turn the ball over that many as well, which is huge. But considering things were not going the way for the Tennessee Titans, and that was pretty clear. The other thing is that the passing side of things, the pass defense was pretty, I'd say it was pretty good. You know, they were able to limit a lot of the weapons, especially Calvin Ridley, who only had 5 catches, 84 yards, almost broke away with 100. This is a guy that, I'm surprised, though, that the Titans have not been able to target him that much. But a lot of that comes from coaching scheme. But as far as the rest of them, he'd been spreading the ball out to a couple of his other receivers as well. But Justin Herbert, 14 of 18, 164 yards, 1 touchdown, no pick, 123 rating, and had a rushing touchdown, 9 carries for 32 rushing yards. So, and by the way, the rush for the team had 145 rushing yards, both of which had 50 for both J.K. Dobbins and returning back Gus Edwards. So the team is starting to get their rushes back. Gus Edwards healthy, serving to be the power back, and at least J.K. Dobbins will get his supporter back. Now, hopefully in this game against the Bengals, we may see this team really rush against this rush defense of the Bengals. We know it's not easy considering with Trey Hendrickson and Logan Wilson and multiple others. But the Chargers also do not want to fold in some of those areas. But Justin Herbert, once again, he's proving to everybody why it is that he's a top 10, top 5 quarterback in this league. Okay, statistics may not show you this, but when you watch the game and you watch situational play, coaching matters, which is why this relationship with him and Jim Harbaugh continues to thrive. It continues to get better and better. And it ain't even done. This is just the beginning of it. Ladd McConkey, 2 catches, 52 yards. Quinn Johnston, by the way, had 2 catches and a passing touchdown catch. So not a ton out of the receivers, but the Chargers at least got the ground and pound game going. Hassan Haskins goes in with a dive over the top, gets a score. Justin Herbert gets a rushing touchdown himself, and then also Quinn Johnston with the pass-catching touchdown. So Chargers got the business done. But what was really talked about was how that defense really harassed Will Levis. So the defense had 58 total tackles, 41 of them solo, 7 sacks. While on Tennessee's side, they did not sack Herbert once. And this is with Harold Landry and Jeffrey Simmons and Amani Hooker and even Tavondre Sweat, the rookie, and even Arden Key. No sack. They only had 2 quarterback hits. While as the Chargers, they also had 8 tackles for a loss, 1 pass defended, and 9 quarterback hits. They have been getting to the quarterback. Bud Dupree and Tooley with 2 sacks of their own. Diane Henley with 1. Poona Ford with 1. And Joey Bosa also with another. I mean, and also this is without Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack was out this past week. So for a defense to literally do that and keep up where they left off, was impressive. Cameron Dicker, by the way, 2 for 2 on field goals and 3 for 3 on extra points. So the special teams, they played their best. Special teams played strong. So the Chargers now on a 3-game win streak, they want to add on to this. They want to get stronger, they want to get better, and they want to prove to people why this culture is where they are. So in this week against the Cincinnati Bengals, you do know that since Joe Burrow has been in the league, and they've only faced off twice, 2020 and 21, that Joe Burrow is actually 0-2 against the Chargers. Last time, it was like 41-22 and 16-13 his rookie season. The very first week. So the Chargers want to capitalize. And they played well against Cincinnati. The first time was hard-nosed, and it was kind of unpredictable because it was a week 1 matchup. You weren't sure what you were going to get. But Joe Burrow, too, is also somebody not to take very lightly. Because Joe Burrow's having an MVP season right now with 2,600 passing yards, 24 tutties, and 4 interceptions. Now, they are without Charlie Jones, and they're also without Joe Baki. But we know, too, that the Chargers, they did get hit in some areas because Junior Colson's now on the IR, so is Simi Fehoko, and with Brendan Rice. But right now, Dean Leonard is making his way back onto this roster. So he's slowly getting back up into it. Khalil Mack is questionable. So we'll take a look at the injury reports as well for this upcoming Sunday night. But it's getting interesting. It's going to be interesting. Bengals offense is not something to tamper with. This is a team that is very powerful at wide receiver. Very powerful. And they're powerful on offense, and they've got dudes. Defensively has been an absolute disappointment. And it's pretty surprising considering that they added Geno Stone as in their center after they lost Jesse Bates. And yet Stone hasn't lived up to the expectation. So that's hard. But the Chargers, they want to take on that challenge. So looking at the injury report as well as we bring this up, the Chargers are getting majority of guys healthy. Now, we know the question marks are going to be on Khalil Mack, and another one will be on Dean Leonard. So looking at it, Joey Bosa was limited for 2 days and then was a full practice today. He's ready to roll. J.K. Dobbins needed some rest, didn't practice on Thursday, was a go today. He's ready. Gus Edwards, limited, and then a full today. He's ready to go. Christian Fulton, by the way, he's coming back this week. And Diane Henley, Hayden Hurst, Trey Pipkins, too, is also coming back, was limited, full, and he's ready to go. And Stone Smart is ready to go. So Dean Leonard and Khalil Mack are the only two that are questionable. Now, Khalil Mack is dealing with a groin injury, and this is something that had lingered on both sides of his legs. So he said that he has been feeling the pain, but is shooting towards playing this Sunday night. So that's the talk. I don't know how sure that may be. If it were me personally, I wouldn't even push it there to the limit, considering with how the Chargers have looked last week without him. At least give your guy much needed rest so he's 110% healthy. So the Chargers are going to get fully healthy. This is the time where it's important for the pushes to the playoffs is you got to have everybody healthy. Now, on the Bengals side of things, Joe Baki, he's doubtful, did not practice all week, the linebacker. They might get a break out of that. Orlando Brown, he's questionable. He'll be a game time decision with that knee and fibula. Joe Burrow was full practice. He's good. Alex Kappa, he didn't practice with an illness, but he was a full go today. He's good to go. And then Trey Hendrickson, with personal rest, he was a full go. He's going to be playing tonight or Sunday night. And then T. Higgins. T. Higgins is back with the quad injury. He'll be playing this Sunday night. B.J. Hill, the D tackle with the knee injury, he's limited. He'll be questionable. Charlie Jones is out. And then Logan Wilson is also a full go. So without Joe Baki, they do have Logan Wilson at linebacker that is healthy. And Trey Hendrickson is a full go, and B.J. Hill is questionable by game time. So, yeah. Matushka, bolt up, man. Appreciate you. Hoping Khalil Mack can play. And you know what? I hope he can play too. But when I'm thinking about longevity all throughout this season, I just don't want to push anything to the limit, respectfully. So this is going to be quite an interesting game. It's an important game for the Cincinnati Bengals because with the Chargers, the team behind them, the Broncos, they want the Chargers to win. And you know how I feel towards the Broncos. I don't care for them. And we play better than they do. We've got a better we have a better quarterback. So the Bengals, this is important for them. And you know what's also funny too is that when talking about it on the AFC West roundtable is Michael Darcy, because he wants to see the Chargers win, because if the playoffs were to start tomorrow and let's say the Bengals, they get into the playoffs, he doesn't want to face them. You know how much of the Chiefs don't like facing off against Joe Burrow? Because Burrow's the only closest one that can beat the Chiefs. But that's where the Chargers are really trying to change that narrative with the way that the culture has been set under Jim Harbaugh. So there's a bunch of, there is a ton of urgency here. And it's for both the Bengals and for the Broncos. Because the Broncos played the Falcons this week. And from what I've seen with the NFC South opponents, it seems to me like the Broncos may win that. I understand the AFC West implications, but the Chargers will play to win outright. Absolutely. They will. And that's ultimately the importance for the Chargers. They don't care about anything else than that. They're sitting atop the second spot in the AFC West. But realistically, when you think about Jim Harbaugh, the only thing on his mind is he wants to continue to push these guys to the limit, wants to continuously get the best up out of them and go and win a ball game. Short and simple. And so the Chargers right now, a lot of people have been speculating this team, and they agree that this is the toughest competition now, considering that the offense has been putting up more than 25 points. And the Chargers, they have the number one scoring defense for 9 straight weeks where they haven't even given up more than 20 to opponents. What a turnaround after an entire disappointing year last year. And so Jesse Minter deserves so much credit for what he's done with this defense. Now, the thing that I would like to change up is that I want us to change up the narrative of saying we've never met our competition. As I get through week to week in the season, I get tired of hearing it every single week. And that's not only just with the Chargers, that's with any other team, where people ask, who have you faced that would make you legit? In my opinion, I can understand that statistically, but does that really matter when you go in each week? Every opponent's different. You are taking this as a week-to-week basis. The Chargers are preparing for anything. They know how tough this competition is because you've got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, both elite receivers with an elite quarterback in Joe Burrow. And he's also got Mike Gesicki there. This defense is going to get tested. The difference is that the opposing defense has not looked hot themselves. So every time the Bengals have played this year, they've had to get into shootouts with other teams. That's what's been the narrative. The secondary is atrocious. Outside of Trey Hendrickson going and getting sacks, that defense has not been playing pretty well. Yeah, and that's the funny thing. The Bengals only faced a top 10 defense once. That was the Eagles. And they scored 17 points against the Eagles. And the Eagles are starting to click on defense. Vic Fangio has really been turning that Eagles team around. So this is the Chargers' perfect opportunity because the fact that Christian Fulton is back. And then there's Tarheeb Still and Cam Hart, who have been two impressive rookie corners who have been stepping up in a big way. I have been very impressed, and I've been very proud of the results. So, right now, this is a 1.5-point margin given to the Chargers, but both teams have actually been in the winning record as against the spread. Bengals are 6-4, the Chargers are 6-3. And the series record is 22-14. The Chargers lead. And the last time they faced this team was back in 21, where the Chargers offense unloaded against the Bengals, 41-22. We've had very good matchups against the Bengals. And to look at this offensively, they have the 12th best offense, 29th in rushing, 4th in passing, and 6th best scoring offense. But things have not looked good on their defense, where they're 23rd overall, 17th in against the rush, 23rd in passing, and 26th in scoring. So the scoring portion has really bit them in the behind. Now, as for the Chargers, we know that their offense has not looked as great. They're 22nd in offense, 19th in rushing, 22nd in passing, and 19th in scoring. But it's slowly each week getting better. The Chargers defense, 6th overall, 9th against the rush, 9th against the pass, and they are the number 1 scoring defense. And their turnover differential, Bengals are even while the Chargers are +9. They don't turn the ball over a lot. And this is what happens when you get a quality coach. Many people on the outside don't believe that Justin Herbert, just because of the way statistics has looked in their eyes, that they think he's not a top 10 quarterback. I would beg to differ. I mean, they're trying to find outs as to why Justin Herbert may not win playoff games, may not be that guy, may not end up being, the quarterback that just takes everybody's breath away. You haven't seen Justin Herbert with a veteran coach like Jim Harbaugh. Now you are. And you're seeing the difference. The team is invested and the team is bought in. So, Sunday Night Football, the Chargers would like to get a win on primetime this year. They've had Arizona where they lost in a dud, where they didn't smell the red zone once at all. No scores. All of them were field goals, and it was a bad game. And they are trying to make up for it here against the Bengals next week, because this is back-to-back AFC North opponents. Next week against the Baltimore Ravens, they play Monday night on primetime. Another opportunity to correct things. So this is the step. Because by the remainder of the season, for the Chargers moving forward, they got some pretty good competition amongst them. They really do. And it's going to determine how these next set of games are going to look like. So after those 5 that I mentioned, then you get into the Broncos, Patriots, Raiders. Those last 3 games. And depending on how the performance goes on against the Bengals, Ravens, Falcons, Chiefs, and Bucks will determine how those last 3 games in the season are going to pan out. Because if they get it to a point where they punched their ticket in the playoffs with the wins they have, of course they're going to rest their starters. Like, you got to have them prepared. So these next 5 games is going to be interesting. Because this is an opportunity to show them what we're made of. And the Chargers right now, as you could kind of see it, like, because we know we have the Falcons on the road. We're 2-0 against the AFC or against the NFC South. All right. So I'm not worried about them. We've already put up 52 points against those opponents, and they've only averaged 11. 11 points total. So I feel actually kind of confident against the Falcons, and I also feel confident against the Bucks. But these games in the North, because right now we're 1-1 against the North, because we lost to the Steelers in a bar fight in week 3. And then the Browns, we gave it to Jameis Winston, should have had 6 picks against him. We should have had that. And then finally, you got these back-to-backs. This week on Sunday night and Monday night against the Ravens. Stinglish, bolt up, man. Appreciate you coming on by. Go 3-2 next 5. We will be in good shape. I agree. I would like for us to, at the very least, go positive in these next 5 games. Because, like I said, that will determine what we do with those next 3 games after all this. So, the Chargers have an interesting 5 games. But hopefully they take the right step in the right direction for them to go on this tear. Because, again, history has a way of repeating itself. Because Jim Harbaugh, since the previous years that he has coached in certain teams, turned them into winning records. That has been a proven fact. So it will be interesting for how the remainder of the season will look like. But I have such full confidence. few things to kind of point out to everybody with how special this team has been. So this Chargers defense, they're first in scoring. They are tied for fourth with sacks with 31, and they also have 13 takeaways. That's tied for 10. This defense really has had a big turnaround. Justin Herbert, by the way, in all 9 games that he's played in, he's had a passer rating of over 90. What that comes down to is when you have smart coaching, situational coaching like Jim Harbaugh, you do not want to make a ton of mistakes. I know it may not have it caught people by surprise why he's not throwing a whole lot, but you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm not looking for at least an MVP like statistic that some of these football fans are looking for. I'm looking for wins. I'm looking for us to build a strong culture and to get this team where they need to go. But here was Jim Harbaugh. So this is what it was in seasons before. So in 2010, with the San Francisco 49ers, they were 6-10 under Mike Singletary. Okay. And there were some 49er fans that have interjected as far as how the Niners the next year looked. Because once he took the team on, they went 13-3. And they're saying, well, Jim didn't build this team. So what? You know what he did? He got the best out of everybody. 13-3 with Alex Smith. Here's the other thing. I know he was not on this team when they drafted Patrick Willis. But man, was that dude a beast. Between him and Navarro Bowman and Aldon Smith and Justin Smith, that was fun to watch. He got the best out of everybody on that roster. Even if he didn't build it, he built consistency with them. That's the big difference maker. Michigan in 2014, they were 5-7. They did not look that hot of a program. And then once Jim Harbaugh came back to his alma mater after everything that went down in San Francisco with the firing and the GM and the front office making the biggest mistake by letting go of Jim Harbaugh, he goes back to his alma mater and they go 10-3. Now, remember, it was not an easy buildup because the fact that he had to deal with Urban Meyer at that time at Ohio State before Ryan Day came in and took the job. And then the other thing that I think has also been pretty evolving for Jim Harbaugh is that he lightened up a bit. His reputation is that he was a hard-nosed coach that people on the outside and even in the front offices were intimidated by that. Because, yeah, when Harbaugh barks, of course that's intimidating, but that's coaching. So, but by that point, Harbaugh is so smart that he still has that hard-nosed coach trait. However, he's evolved that to where he is much more even-keeled. He's lightened up into ways where he relates to these players. He connects with them, which is, it looks like it's the moon to a lot of these other coaches when you're trying to build a culture, especially with a lot of these coordinators. That's what people don't understand, is that the Chargers, we've had 3 different coordinators. Probably had 4 because of Norv Turner. But Norv was not a culture guy. Your last culture guy was Marty Schottenheimer. And we've seen what he did with the Kansas City Chiefs. Why he got fired after 14-2 will forever be a question Charger fans can never answer because they don't know. They don't know why. But having a culture coach with an established quarterback is so important. And at the same time, it's a breath of fresh air once you start to see it be built before your very eyes. And the Chargers are so lucky for this because next year, this is the thing. Like the Washington Commanders, they're just kind of riding this wave. Their pivotal jump, and I'll be surprised if it is this year. In 1 year, I'll be so shocked and surprised. But I think everything is getting primed for next year because they'll have about $115 million in cap space to spend. They will also have 10 draft picks. And there's guys on this roster that you're getting the best out of that are worthy of a contract extension to bring back, or they go get other players, and they draft the new ones to develop them. So you got to think about it. Last year, guys, this Chargers team was 5-12. We were atrocious under Brandon Staley. I've never understood why they did not fire him right after that collapse of Jacksonville. I've never understood it. The fact we're beating the teams we're supposed to is a breath of fresh air. Exactly. The teams that we should not lose to. Now, granted, I will concur. I will take this step is that the Chargers did have a WTF game with the Arizona Cardinals. Let's be fair about that. That was one that really pissed me off. But as far as getting payback against the Raiders, getting payback against the Titans, getting tested against the Steelers and the Chiefs. Because remember, this whole thing is meant for the Chargers to build to eliminate the Chiefs. That's what this whole thing's about. That's why Jim Harbaugh was so good at what he did in Michigan and in Stanford and in San Francisco, because he's always been served as the disruptor for teams' empires. I mean, he stopped Pete Carroll several times in USC before he left to take the job in Seattle for 3 times the charm in his head coaching career. He's also the reason he stopped him again in San Francisco. And he did this against Ohio State. What makes you think that Jim Harbaugh won't work his magic again, this time against Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes? You guys know I have such burning fuel of fire against that team. I don't like these guys. I can't stand their asses. The fact that every week it's getting closer and closer and closer and closer, yet they're winning these games. I get sick of it after a while. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was a game that we should have never lost against the Arizona Cardinals. I was pissed because the fact that we never scored one time in the end zone and all we settled was for field goals for a 17-15 ball game. Are you kidding me? Arizona's defense. I mean, right now they're kind of cooking. But at that time, they were not that great. They were having struggles. But they handed it to us. Nothing else I can say after that. So, this is why in these kinds of stretches, this is what it's preparing us. Because if you actually think about it, with the first 4 weeks into the season before we went into the bye week in week 5, we saw with what Harbaugh is capable of doing. Okay, we got the payback against the Raiders, which I love it every time we get payback against the Raiders because I can't stand Raider fans. I love my boy Graf, but he knows it. They chirp all the time. But we put the money where their mouth is. So we get the payback. We then play Carolina, which was a steamroll. But then we played trench warfare against the Steelers and Chiefs. Gerardo, bolt up, man. I'm doing good. I know it's been quite a while, but I'm glad that I'm back up on the live stream. I will have videos, guys. I really do apologize for the much time that I've been taking off. But I've been working to keep the consistency to where we grow this channel up because we got to get this channel up to 1,000. That is the goal. That is what we are striving and reaching for. So we got to get it up there. And especially with being a part of the AFC West Roundtable, it's really helped out a lot. You guys have been amazing. You guys have been awesome with the support. We got to get this channel up to 1,000. It's teamwork effort from here on out. So, yeah, we go into trench warfare between the Steelers and Chiefs. I mean, the Steelers, what they're capable of is that they throw down against teams and they screw them up by the next week. They don't look the same. That's what they are. So, to go into a bar fight against Pittsburgh, toughen us up, and really play up against the Chiefs, I thought was pretty impressive. But we can't lose that game. And it sucks when we're at home and then that happens. But week 14 in Arrowhead on another prime time, boy, isn't that going to be a sight to see? Can't wait for that. But I would like for us to really take this away against the Bengals, proving that our defense is not a fluke, that this group, with everybody in it from last year, that the culture and the schemes have changed, and the Chargers are playing their best defense. This is the best looking defense in quite a while. I love with what I've seen with this team. So I would love for us to build that momentum to where we go in and play Cincinnati, we go in and play Baltimore, we then go and play Atlanta before facing against the Kansas City Chiefs, where we will be fully healthy and better prepared. I would love nothing more than that. But we know the Bengals have a powering offense. And that is a test for the Chargers to really pass. If you think about it, look at the offenses that the Chargers have faced to this point. Not a ton of them were great. Raiders, atrocious. Panthers, so bad. Steelers at the time with Justin Fields was BB gun. They were not that great. They leaned in a lot to their defense. Chiefs, we know statistically Patrick Mahomes is having a horrible season. But they've been winning all the execution stuff. The Cardinals, even they're not as great of an offense. After the bye week, we had the Broncos on the road. Broncos offense is decent, but it's a rookie quarterback. And Cardinals offense, not as flashy. Saints offense, so bad. I mean, the whole team is atrocious. The Cleveland Browns, they lose Deshaun Watson. for the year, and in comes Jameis Winston. They've been trying to find their identity, but even that's become a hot mess. And the Tennessee Titans with Will Levis has become such a hot mess. But the Bengals offense with Joe Burrow, oh yeah. And then Lamar Jackson, really good quarterback, MVP caliber right now. And you've got the Falcons, where the Falcons have been kind of stagnant with their offense. And then there's the Chiefs again, the Buccaneers. Let me be honest with you. Baker Mayfield, boy, what a season he's had. And even when he doesn't have his best weapons with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. Broncos again. Patriots, they don't look great on offense, but they do have a franchise guy in Drake May. And then it's the Raiders again. I mean, the Bengals and the Ravens are the two teams that I know have very strong, powerful offenses. But Bengals defense is atrocious. And same with the Ravens, because the Ravens don't quite have secondary help. The second they lose that, they're screwed. And then now Lamar has to play shootouts with other teams. I mean, you saw that against the Bengals when they both faced off. How much that they had to climb back from behind to make that happen. So this is actually a very good thing to ace the test on, is seeing how we do with competent teams like the Ravens and the Falcons and the Chiefs. But two very good offenses would be the Bengals and Ravens, the way I see it. I could too see us go 3-2, but I tell you right now, if I saw this team going 4-1, boy, I'll be happy. I really will be. Because this Chargers team, they deserve to have a moment like this. It's been quite a while, guys. I've been around for a long time to know enough that the Chargers have not had their moment yet. And I'm talking about even in history. They haven't quite had their moment yet. Think about it. They've only been to the Super Bowl one time in their organization history. They have not had that moment. They've had very good, talented players, but it wasn't in the moment. Which that's what I am excited and I'm waiting for. Hopefully the Chargers can get that sooner than later. But this should be a very good testament to what they should be capable of in these next 2 weeks. Notorious. Bolt up, man. I see us. Oh. Message retracted. Uh-oh. I was trying to read your message up on there. I'll wait till it comes back up. But I did catch a glimpse saying you see that us winning the next 2 games. And you know what? That's my hope. Is because we prove to people we are a legit offense, or a legit defense. We're not frauds that only just play great defenses against sub 500 teams. That we're capable of shutting down some of these offenses. That we're capable of playing against teams with winning records. So that alone should tell you. But this is a good start for the Chargers to really showcase that defense and prove to everybody this defense is for real. Then, of course, against the Ravens, not an easy one either. Brothers match up. And we've got Lamar Jackson, which in previous histories, the Ravens lately have had the number. There you go. I do see us winning these next 2 games. Maybe I'm optimistic, but this team feels different with Harbaugh. It does. This team feels great. I'm pumped up every single week with Harbaugh because this is what the team deserves. I mean, guys, think about it. The fact that we have not had a culture guy in a long time to shape this culture since this team got ripped out of San Diego. I was so sorely disappointed and I was shocked. I mean, listen, LA County and all the rest of them, I understand there's money to be made. But you ripped out a fan base out of San Diego. And think about it. San Diego was willing to keep the Chargers. They were willing to do any and everything that they could to keep the team. But it didn't happen. And now, with all the taxpayers' dollars out there in San Diego, now look at how the Padres are literally opening up the bank account to spend it to buy players. Could you have imagined that had the Chargers not left? And I've told people we're not welcomed here in Los Angeles. If you really think about it, because it's Raiders country. So this is why it was so important to get Jim Harbaugh. It really was. Do we see DJ Chark play more than one snap this week? That's my biggest hope. He's healthy now. I think it was kind of a slow build-up to getting him back in to get the reps. But I think this week he should be getting more targets. So hopefully we'll see DJ Chark get more involved. Quinn Johnston continuing to play his game. Josh Palmer, of course, also being the ace in the hole. And then Ladd McConkey. So we know the Chargers offense and the offensive line against Trey Hendrickson. I mean, they have to match up very well against that, again, like at least on the interior side. That's what they have to prepare for. So that's why it's so good that Trey Pipkins is back, having Jamari Salyer and Zion Johnson as our aces there. But we've got to lock down that interior side because there is going to be points and parts where the Bengals defense are going to try to attack us that way. I mean, you've seen with how our tackles have looked with Slater and Joe Alt. Those guys have been playing phenomenal. And the offensive line allowed 0 sacks against the Titans last week. Herbert had a comfortable pocket. Herbert was able to distribute the ball, whether it was handoffs, checkdowns, or even making great plays. Now, the thing that I think has been the knock on the Chargers is that they do not make a ton of big plays. But when we do, well, it's talked about all week long. We talk about it every time with Justin Herbert. So this game against the Bengals, I would love for us to take it on Sunday night. I really would. That way we continue the win streak to 4 and go on this run. All just to prepare for us against Kansas City when the time comes. That is my hope. My final score prediction, if looking at it, I think this is definitely going to be because of the test of the defense against a high-powering offense. This is one that the Chargers would like to see this defense stop Joe Burrow. I got to be real with you, bro. I was there this last Sunday game against the Titans. and we were getting loud in third downs. The stadium felt full of Charger fans. And you know what? That's because it's the start with Jim Harbaugh, bringing the culture back, because that's important for us, especially when we need hometown fans to get loud for this team. We've got to get our mojo back as a franchise. And this is the start, and this is the beginning of what Jim Harbaugh does. So this game is going to be so much fun on Sunday night, knowing how SoFi will look. But Joe Burrow, MVP caliber season, he needs to be stopped in his tracks. You cannot allow Jamar Chase to get added separation and speed to get past these corners. Same that goes for T. Higgins. Now we know T has been coming back with the quad injury, but still is somebody that the Chargers corners need to stop. So this is a great grand test, because that Bengals team is capable of putting points up on the board, but the defense also coughs up all those points too, which is why the Chargers need to take advantage of it. I mean, I trust our tackles. Hopefully our interior offensive line can get on that same page. But at least with Trey Pipkins back, we have our depth back. Guys are getting healthy at the right time. So I would like for us to get a win here on Sunday night. And I think it would also boost a lot of our morale and really make it all happen. So this is it, guys. This is the fun part of the season that we are working so hard for. Time to really watch it flourish. So let's see what happens, because a lot of these guys, this is the thing. All season long, we have had so many hidden gems come in and literally play their tails off. I mean, Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins. By the way, Elijah Molden, we get this dude for a 6th-round pick out of Tennessee. What a steal. The same that goes for Elijah or for Christian Fulton. I'm so happy that we got Denzel Perryman back with the way he's also played. I mean, you are seeing such positive changes with this organization. And that's all dealt by Jim Harbaugh. So 27-20, Chargers, let's go, bolt the fuck up. Yeah, oh, hell yeah. So my guess for the Chargers, because it's a 1-point favorite to the Chargers at home, my final score prediction, I'm going to go with a 24-21 win at home against the Bengals. I think we're capable of holding this team down. I think in a prime time, we'd like to get ourselves back in the win column this year. After the loss to the Arizona Cardinals, I would like for us to make that up. And prove to people that we are capable of beating teams that are above 500. I really would. And this is going to be the ultimate test to it. Because all 5 of these teams, actually 4 of the 5 are above 500. Buccaneers, Falcons, Chiefs, and the Ravens are above 500. So I would love for us to be able to narrow that win, grab it, and then go into next week against the Ravens on a Monday night and really take it to them. Because, man, that's much needed. So that's my score prediction, 24-21. I think the Chargers come in with a purpose that they want to continue the win streak. They're feeling great about themselves. They want to pass every single test that they have in front of them in a week-to-week basis. This is what we got. So that's my hope. That's my outlook. And I hope it goes according to plan and it really goes our way. I really hope so. That would make all of our days. So I appreciate all of you guys. Really do. We got to get this channel up to 1,000. I am working very hard to keep the consistency on this channel, especially going in every Tuesday night on the AFC West Roundtable for you guys to represent our Bolts proudly. But I appreciate all of your guys' patience with me. I appreciate every single one of your guys' supports. If you have not done so already, let Charger fans know. Let them know. Because part of a culture rebuild is to get back the energy that we so deserve that we haven't had in a long time. And that's supporting one another. Let's build this culture strong, guys. Look, I'm in no competition with anybody. Not with my fellow good friends over at Locked On Chargers, not with the director, not with the Bolt Bros, not with Charger Chat. I am so supportive of every single one of us because it is a team of we. All right? And you guys are the reason that makes the channel successful. It's a victory for all of us. So let's get that up there. That means smash the likes. That means smash the shares. That means smash the subs and hitting those bell buttons so you guys don't miss out on videos, live streams, and more of that. And I will do everything on my part to assure you guys are always tapped in. And at the same time, I'm doing my part keeping consistency so you guys always have something of what is on my mind about the Chargers. Appreciate all of you guys. If you haven't checked it out, also, JT, bolt up, man. Let's go. If you guys haven't done so already, our sponsors at Green Gridiron, give them a look. These guys are awesome. They have customized helmets. Check them out for yourselves. Let's go, H. Tovar. Appreciate it, man. Bolt up. Check them out. They've got great customized helmets. Also, realistic helmets. They customize them personally for your favorite teams or whatever customize that you want. They also have miniature helmets as well for collectibles and even for autograph signings. Check them out at greengridiron.com. When you guys, before you check out, make sure you guys save up and use the promo code LACSYN. Okay, that's LACSYN for LA Chargers Syndicate. So, little small LACSYN. Check them out for yourselves, guys, because I've got mine, and boy, it's kick ass. I may even think about getting an actual realistic helmet. But they've got great prices up on it. The quality is fantastic. They even have it with the visors, dude. It's dope. I love it. So check them out for yourselves, greengridiron.com. Also, guys, check me out on AFC West Roundtable every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, to get in and tap in about our Bolts. Because I'm in there in that roundtable. I'm getting a lot of the smack talking. I'm getting a lot of the criticism. I'm getting everything. And also, I'm even getting a lot of loves and supports. Because the AFC West Roundtable, man, it's where it's at. So check them out. Round Table Sports is where it's at. But also with my great guys here on Syndicate Sports as well. So appreciate all of you guys for joining in and tuning in with me. Oh, that's how you found me, JT. Okay. Well, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you for the support. But yeah, let's get the dub. Let's keep the win streak going. And let's literally get Joe burrowed down to the ground this Sunday night in prime time. Because you know what? There is nothing like Sunday night football. So let's get our redemption back on prime time and beat the Bengals and improve the win streak to 4 in a row. I appreciate all of you guys. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. And I shall see you guys on the other side after Sunday night football. I may be live streaming that game. I'll let you guys know. But I should be able to live stream that game on Sunday. I should have some open time. But yeah, it's going to be an awesome one. So I cannot wait for it, guys. But appreciate you guys. Remember, like it out, sub it out, share it out, and let's spread the word. Let's meet our goals. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers, guys, because we worked so hard to get up to this point, and we ain't even done yet. I'm just getting started with it. So let's make it happen, guys. Let's get it going, and let's improve the win streak to 4 and get us there to get us prepared for Kansas City in the next few weeks, guys. Take care of yourselves. Always remember to bolt up, and let's get this win.